Citizens, it's that time. You are officially in the Alert Zone. Welcome to the Alert Zone TV, and welcome to another episode of Never Again, the docu-series that we're doing here in the Alert Zone. If you're 18 years of age or older and are able to be legally armed, protect yourself, practice your Second Amendment rights. It's not illegal under the Constitution. We're going to have a conversation. I was going to live stream this, but I just thought it would be better to do it this way, because there's so many of them that I just decided I was going to tackle it all at once. We're going to talk about church massacres and the terrorism that goes on in the places of worship here in America and around the world. And it's going to lead me up to something. So, just a quick rundown of why you need to be armed at church. So here in America, when we walked off the plantations, the final people, in 1865, we started building our own communities. The church was the place of power. The church was where everything was decided. The muscle of the community was the church. The church was almost the central business district in the capacity of the preacher had a lot of say-so in the community. The preacher and the deacons, they were armed. They looked out for everybody, thus and so. And as we started to build churches and communities around this country, we started being attacked. And they started attacking the black church because it symbolized our military fort. As I told you guys in a previous video, after somebody got lynched or somebody was wrongfully arrested and they knew the mob was getting together, they would put the women and children in the community at a house or two, and they would have a couple guys that would stand out with their guns to stand on guard, while the rest of the men got together and we either went to go chop the body down or to the jailhouse or what have you. And basically that was how we kept the community safe. Then we went into Reconstruction, and we come out of Reconstruction and what have you. And after coming out of Reconstruction, when Jim Crow showed up, is when the churches started being attacked. Where you started seeing church bombings, where they would burn down churches, where there would be routine killings, lynchings, massacres at churches in America, in the black community. And as time went on, it just got worse and worse. And the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, rocked us to the core. Everybody know about the 4 little girls. Not too many people know that the community retaliated, and that's when the troops were sent in. But then when you come up to modern times and you think about how the churches kept being burned down and attacked, the 501c3, where the preacher stopped preaching to protect yourself, to give me your money, and don't worry about protecting yourself, is all in God's hands, although God made these legal and accessible to you. And in the Bible, God says, sell your cloak and buy a sword. And here in the Alert Zone, we say, sell your Gucci and buy a Glock. In modern times, the dynamics started changing. You seen in the 60s, where the Nation of Islam out in Los Angeles had one of their temples raided by Los Angeles police, and they shot 15 or 14 of the parishioners. One of the guys wound up dead, and they charged him with a crime even though he was dead. And then you had the church bombings, because of abortion and because of different reasons. You started having the churches being bombed with pipe bombs, And then the modern day massacre started. You had synagogues being blown up and attacked. You had the Mother Emanuel massacre, where Dylan Roof went into a church full of elderly grandmothers, black folks, and carried out his massacre. That inspired another guy in Louisville to go and pull one, but because the church decided to lock the doors, he just went to a Kroger's and shot down a couple people. Then you had the Tree of Life synagogue shooting. I believe you had the synagogue shooting in New Zealand, and you had the Sutherland Church massacre in Texas. And then you had another one that tried to pull that afterwards. And after Sutherland, Texas, the community stepped up and said, hey, we're going to have to start being armed in church for the next person that tried, because we know it's coming. And the next one tried. He killed one parishioner, but the congregation put him down. There's probably, in Nigeria, when I talked about the Nigerian church massacre that Boko Haram carried out, where they killed those 50 people in the church, there's probably thousands of church massacres I've left out. I said all that to say this. This has went across racial lines. It started in America with the black church, and it just crossed lines, and it went into all different communities. I remember watching Forensic Files, and somewhere in Arizona, you had a bunch of monks be killed by two guys. You know, shout out to Guns and Journey, my sister, for legally being armed and trying to get her congregation to do the same. I brought all this up because there was almost another church massacre that just happened, but it was stopped. You may have not heard about this. Prince William County, thwarted diabolical plot. Man arrested minutes before mass shooting at Northern Virginia church, police say. Investigators said there were people able to stop the potential massacre at Park Valley Church in Haymarket thanks to someone who saw a troubling post on Instagram and called the police. Authorities arrested a man who they say was minutes away from carrying out a mass shooting at a church in Northern Virginia on Sunday. Rui Jiang, 35, was taken into custody with a loaded gun and extra ammunition at Park Valley Church in Haymarket. Authorities said he was on a mission to kill. This was a thwarted diabolical plot to kill churchgoers in Haymarket, Virginia, and local law enforcement stopped, the chief said. The congregation was making their way into the church. He was in the vestibule of the church about to enter, Davis said. So minutes or seconds away. Investigators say they were able to stop the potential massacre thanks to someone who saw a troubling post on Instagram and called the police. Several posts showed Jiang pointing a firearm at pictures of churches, authorities said. What she saw concerned her enough to call the Anne Arundel County, Maryland Police Department and say, hey, I think something really bad is going to happen, Davis said. Police said Jiang went on a stakeout of the church early Sunday morning and posted pictures from the parking lot. In charging documents released Tuesday, police said Jiang admitted to posting the photos on Instagram, some which clearly showed the Park Valley Church. Blood will be on your hands, one caption read in part. In another, Jiang allegedly wrote it, no women will be harmed. Another post showed Jiang holding a handgun, the charging document said. Hours later, the concerned citizen alerted Anne Arundel County Police. They determined that the suspect lived in the Bailey's Crossroads area of Fairfax County, and police went there to perform a welfare check at his home in the 5600 block of Seminary Road. Jiang was not home, authorities said. At 10 a.m., officers requested Prince William County Department officers to immediately respond to the Park Valley Church area to search for Jiang. Recognizing the severity of the situation, and FCP contacted the PWCP PD directly to relay information. Fairfax County authorities said it was at the church just after 10 a.m. that Jiang was arrested. Police said he was carrying a loaded semi-automatic pistol with another magazine plus a knife. Hours later, police searched his home and made disturbing discovery. Officers found a kill manifesto, the likes of which I've never read, Davis said. But he also articulated that he didn't know anyone at that church. He articulated that his would-be victims, and he put out there, he knew he was going to take many lives yesterday, and he also said, I don't know any of them. Senior Pastor Barry White said Monday evening that his congregation was breathing a sigh of relief and giving thanks to that no one was hurt. Quite frankly, we've just been thanking God. You know, God's been so good to us and he has protected us, White said. I was here, but it was conducted in such a way that most of the things happening were behind the scenes. Jiang faces charges for making threats and taking a weapon to church. White said this won't change how the church worships. Keep running our services the same way. All are welcome. Jiang was held without bond. So, for those of you who want to know what was the inspiration for this video, it was that. A mass shooting was thwarted. I want everybody in this country and around this world to understand something. Because you at church, don't drop your guard. Church is becoming the killing field around the world. We're having more and more incidents at churches around this world. Me as a foundational Black American, I can speak on this because for a long time we were the targets of church attacks. For people who practice Islam, I know you guys have been under attack for the perception of your religion. But the fact that we may not agree with somebody's religion drives people to the point of wanting to kill and hatred. You guys can't understand this enough. I can't get it through your head enough. After Dylan Roof murdered 9 people, his family put every Black person on this planet in danger. Their families, the families of the victims, when they went to his arraignment and said how much they enjoyed worshiping with him and how they would not have done anything different and how they still forgive him and all this other craziness, even though he had carried out a massacre. He said he left one person alive to tell the story and that the people were begging him to stop shooting and he said he couldn't. Authorities took him to Burger King after he was captured, and this just emboldened the rest of them to want to pull this. Let me say this in no uncertain terms. I don't care what your religious, spiritual, ideology, whatever. When you go to praise and you go to worship at a place of worship, don't feel ashamed to arm yourself. If you run a church where you don't want people armed, hire armed security. Churches have always been soft targets. Churches have become the new killing field around the world because the churches are preaching, stand there and get on your knees and pray while you're getting your head blown off. They stopped preaching self-defense. To the reverend, to the imam, to the pope, to the priest, to the whoever. Stop preaching to just pray about everything. Faith without works is useless. Do you understand me? It's no good to pray and ask God for help when he sends you help and you won't exercise that help. He's not going to come out the sky and form some force field around you. I'm sorry. As I said, I don't care what your religious beliefs are, your spiritual beliefs. Understand, anytime you go into church, Got my 300 black out here. One of these can show up in the hands of the wrong person. You don't want to be caught off guard. I don't care if you got a revolver. 5 shots beat none. Because if you place the shot right, you can eliminate the threat. Or you can at least save some people's lives. Hit me in the comment section and let me know what you think about this. To all my church-going people, protect yourself. When you put on your all white, make sure you got something all white in that purse, or black, or whatever color you like. Deacons, preachers, ushers, regular congregants. When you put your suit on, make sure you got a holster here. Get your shoulder holster. Make sure you got something on you. When everybody bow their heads in prayer, the armed people should lift theirs up in protection to make sure nothing happens. At the back of every church, in every church service, there should be at least one armed person, legally, sitting back there with their eyes just and their head on a swivel watching. Don't think this can't happen to your church because you don't practice a certain religion or because you live in a certain part of the country or the world. This has become a worldwide, infamous phenomenon. The only way to stop it is not only to thwart it, but when they show up, make them know. You might come, but you ain't leaving. You're in the right place. We can kill you, we can do your wake, and we can send you to the cemetery all in once. Hit me in the comment section and let me know what you think. Like I said, to my girl Guns and Journey, I appreciate you for your journey, and I definitely wanted to shout you out as a part of the reason I did this on this docuseries. Till next time, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert.